Hello everyone, my name is Brennan Marr. That noise you're hearing is my ventilator. And welcome to Page Turners They Were Not, my Star Wars podcast. Today I'd like to talk about the redemption of Anakin Skywalker. I heard a very troubling statement from a Star Wars fan yesterday, and it made me decide to do this particular topic. The person said that Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker, should not have been redeemed. Oh my. This was quite a bombshell because this is the first time that I've ever heard anybody say that. I've heard people express trouble with it. That how could a guy who was so evil be redeemed by one good act? But I've never heard someone say that they were disappointed that he was redeemed and didn't think he should have been redeemed and thought it was not good in the story. Now, this in no way is meant to suggest anything negative about the person who said this. I respect his opinion, but I disagree. And let me talk about why. So a couple of reasons come to mind. First of all, I believe Star Wars as a series, as a story, would be far less meaningful if Anakin Skywalker was not redeemed. I believe that one of the greatest moments in cinema is Anakin's decision to turn on the Emperor and kill him and save his son from death. This is one of the greatest moments in cinema. Now, this then brings us to the question of, okay, he did a good deed. He saved his son. But should he have been redeemed and achieved the Star Wars version of salvation? Well, I mentioned on a previous podcast, I believe that the Force is alive. And like a god, the Force makes decisions about who is worthy. Let me go into my own theology. I believe that no one deserves salvation. No one deserves a thing. I believe that the only thing that will grant salvation is the grace of God. Likewise, I believe that no one in Star Wars deserves salvation. The Force knows who is worthy. And the Force knows the hearts of the people. And knows where their hearts truly are. It is not for you or I to judge who is worthy of salvation in the Force. Just like I believe that in life, I have no right to say that someone is not worthy of salvation when I'm not worthy of salvation myself. Because only God will make that decision. And I believe in Star Wars, only the Force will make that decision. Now, this brings us to a lot of the bad things that Darth Vader did. I believe sometimes that people think forgiveness and repentance means that what they did is suddenly okay. I completely disagree. When someone says sorry, when someone is forgiven, when someone repents, the bad thing they did doesn't go away. Vader did a lot of bad things, and it doesn't mean that what he did was okay. What he did was wrong. But he still had the chance, and I believe that the Force knew his heart was worthy. He rejected his darkest side and turned back to the light. This does not make the bad things he did okay. It just means that I believe his heart was in the right place. Now, we don't really know how it works in the afterlife of the Force. Maybe Anakin Skywalker still has to suffer for the pain he caused. Even though his Force spirit appears at the end and his Force ghost, and we assume he's achieved salvation, maybe he still has to suffer for what he's done. We don't really understand how that works. But I believe that the Force knew that he was worthy, or at least the Force believed he was worthy, and made that decision, that his heart was in the right place. That's what I believe about that. As I mentioned before, this is one of the greatest moments in cinema, I think, is Vader turning on the Emperor, and then Anakin appearing at the end as a Force ghost. Without these moments, I think Star Wars would lose a lot of its meaning. Star Wars has many layers of meaning, and many things to love about it, but for me, that's one of the greatest things about Star Wars, and if you were to remove the redemption of Anakin Skywalker, you would cut a serious amount of meaning for the film. And also, kind of the arc of Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader, would be less interesting, I think. Another reason is, you know, Anakin was the chosen one. Anakin fulfilled his destiny by rejecting the dark side, embracing the light, and destroying the Emperor, thus fulfilling his calling as the chosen one, and defeating the Sith and bringing balance to the Force. At least for a time. And I believe that a lot of this meaning would be non-existent if Anakin were not redeemed in the end. And a lot of this storytelling would be for naught. Now, he did a lot of bad things when he was alive. It's true. Genocidal maniac. But people change. We need to, I think, allow people to change. If we were to say you did bad things and you could never be good, no matter what you do, we'll never accept you as a good person, then we might as well reject everybody. Everyone is guilty of bad things. That should not define them. What defines them, I think, is what's in their heart. And if they suddenly change and go from being bad to being good, we cannot let the bad that they did define the rest of their legacy. If they suddenly turn good, it would be unfair to do this. So I believe that the redemption of Anakin Skywalker is absolutely essential to the arc of Star Wars. And I believe that the redemption of Anakin may play a part in Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Maybe Ben Solo will finally understand not to worship his grandfather as the symbol of evil, but to understand that his grandfather rejected that part of himself, and chose to be a hero, and turned back to the light that had always been calling to him. Maybe Ben will finally get the point. And maybe the legacy of his grandfather will help him embrace the light that is calling to him. I don't know what the future of the franchise will bring us in terms of further understanding of redemption, but these are some of the thoughts that I've had about why I believe that Anakin Skywalker should have been redeemed. And I'm very glad that the filmmakers decided he would be redeemed. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. My name is Brendan Marr. That noise you heard is my ventilator. And thank you for tuning in to Page Turners They Were Not, my Star Wars podcast. May the Force be with you.